Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Somebody from the organization sent somebody to cough on us at 7-Eleven, so we're slightly sick, but that will not stop us. Today we're watching Steins Gate, Season 1, Episode 19. Last episode we went on a date with Ruka. It was kind of sweet. I liked it.
I liked it too.
I really liked the ending and how they paralleled it back to the beginning of the series when we were first meeting Ruka, and the monologue of, but he's a guy. The most pretty out of any girl, but he's a guy.
I think these last two episodes that we've watched have probably been two of my favorites for this show so far. And honestly, because of the build-up that got us here emotionally, where we can understand, I think these are great examples of understanding the weight that has been nuanced and subtly said, and even maybe Mayuri's character has observed the most of what this weight would be in terms of disconnect between people, and also the bad things that can happen, the undoing of things and the losing of memories, and the togetherness.
Yeah, and now we're going back to try to stop and revert the first email, correct? Nervous. Very nervous. You ready? Sweet. Shining finger. In this episode, we will learn about who FB is. That's my guess.
That's a good guess.
Too many to count. Interesting approach this time around.
I know, but it still hurts.
Is he doing it to try to get an eye on Moeka because she might be there? Yeah. You're not alone. Quit 2 or 3 days ago. You already know where she lives.
So we're going to save Moeka's life?
In order to change the D-mail? Kurisu. I'm nervous. In the corner. Did what you wanted. Oh, shit! Texting Kurisu, what do you think?
Texting... This is too intense. I can't. Send it.
Why?
Maybe it was like a code phrase she had to say, so she would know someone took her phone if it wasn't the exact phrase.
Different phone? Yeah. Oh, shit. Holy shit.
He's gonna get arrested! Like, people are gonna call the police! I still think that's rather suspicious. I don't think you could just walk away from that. Oh, did she bite him?
Oh. Back to the first shot. It's okay.
That's how you pick someone that'll be loyal to you, right? Place to belong.
She was the lab member in the other world line. Holy shit. Moeka.
萌えかだ。それ以上は何も。D メールを取り消す。7月31日の起動した。今度こそ。どう？ダメだ。桐生萌えかが D メールを信じなかったのか。D メールに従ったのか。別の文面でもう一度。おそらく萌えかを動かせるのはあいつだけだ。からメールを送ることができれば無条件で従うはず。FB を探す。心当たりは避けないか。さっき言ってた私が誰かを未来のこと。ああ、FB の命令ならやるんだろう。やる、きっと。利用されていると分かってもか。
いや。
そうやって依存したまま捨てられてしだが、俺はそんなのごめんだ。俺は世界に抗う。マユリを。コインロッカー。大ビル前。IPN5100。
It's in there. Okay, that was Steins Gate, season 1, episode 19. Man, like, this feels weird. This is, like, I'm not for the first time, like, in, like, not for the first time. This has happened to me in this show, even. I'm just, like, I don't even want to discuss. I just want to go into the right next episode, because I'm so, like, I don't know. It's taking me on a ride right now.
I am honestly, like, flabbergasted and, like, so appreciative that with the same kind of, concept or idea of changing a D-mail or something that someone texted themselves, that in 3 episodes, there can be almost the same surface level of emotion of, like, changing someone else's, like, intention, but then it goes deeper in these, like, much different complex emotions and feelings for all 3 of the scenarios. And I am left feeling both this, like, balance of a similar feeling from the other 2, but also, like, a completely different feeling from the other 2. And I think that it's so cool to have this same, like, prompt or idea and give such, like, dramatically different, nuanced feelings with, like, each.
So, like, on one big hand, I hate Moeka because of what she's done to Mayuri and Ocarine and the rest of the lab time and time again. But on a completely different hand, I hate whoever the fuck FB is for fucking with Moeka so much that, like, man, I understand that Moeka was on death's door and the one and was going to die in this world line if it wasn't for FB.
Mm-hmm.
But FB has only prolonged that death for their own benefit. And yes. in FB's mind, I imagine, they knew Moeka was going to die, willingly took advantage of that, and manipulated her to just do what she wanted, rather than, oh, I know she's gonna die, I could stop it and give her a place, like Ocarine would, you know?
There's this sick idea you get in your head once you hear Moeka refer to FB as, like, a mother.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like FB is feeding Moeka and then choosing to starve Moeka when best fits. Like, choosing to, I see that she's starving, I'm gonna feed her a little bit so that she keeps showing up at, like, be fed. And it's so sick, and it's one of those scenarios that I really do love, because it's super complex of, like, who to be mad at, who is the actual enemy, like, the whole phrase of, like, don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
But then also more complex, because it's, like, a hired hand, it's, like, a hired killer. But what Moeka's getting out of this relationship isn't, like, a financial gain, it's a belonging, and, like, really, really deep core of her being is being helped here. That this is something that she needs to survive. This is almost like she's using this as a substitute for love and for friendship and for all the things that people, like, living creatures need in life to live and be happy and to thrive. And it's like she's just getting this little bit from FB, and it's, like, means the world to her. And it's just so, that's how you get someone, I guess, that is so loyal to you that they would literally go kill someone.
Yeah.
If you just text ordered it. Like, the idea that Moika's never even met FB or actually even talked on the phone, and it's purely just text messages of, like, telling you to do something, like...
So I have a few questions. Does FB have to be somebody we already know? And does FB have to be somebody from the future?
At first I thought that FB didn't have to be someone from the future by the end of this episode, because when Moeka says that it's in a coin locker, I assumed that was a drop-off point, because Moeka's just being used. So it's not like Moeka was told to keep the IBN with her.
In the same vein that Suzuha was a time traveler.
Oh, so you're asking if FB is a time traveler like Suzuha from
Correct.
That future?
Correct.
That's a good question. Obviously, someone has to know things from the future. It would make sense that there would be someone from both sides of, like, I guess if you were going to say good and evil, that knew an outcome in the future, and one side wants that outcome to come to fruition and maybe even be easier, world domination style, and then the other being Suzuha.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, on one hand, how do you know of Moeka, and how do you know she's in the vulnerable position that she's in order to utilize her? Mm-hmm. If she dies there, then in the future, you aren't given that knowledge. You'd have no way of knowing that she's that vulnerable there unless you had some report of, like, a girl just committing suicide, right? You'd have to know her in some sense.
I don't know if I agree. I think that you could choose in that... I think you could see that if someone does choose to make a decision like that, that they are in a very, very vulnerable position and maybe are possibly longing for someone to reach out to them. Moeka was obviously, from the little bit we got, maybe like self-isolated, or just was isolated not because she wanted to be, but because of peers isolating her. And there was definitely this idea that it's possible that FB was just sending these messages to anyone they thought could be in a vulnerable enough position that they would, like, respond favorably.
Yeah.
So it could have just been, like, someone looking in the news and seeing that on that day someone had died, and then choosing to see if they could use that person as such, like, almost this loyal, I'm only alive because of you, I owe you so much, you saved me.
Yeah. I could see that.
I don't know if it needs to be, like, specifically Moeka or, like, having any past knowledge of her.
What it makes me think of immediately is the text that we got, I believe, in episode 11 of when Ocarine got the text from PATGHQWSKM at 9s, and the attachment was losers 1 TKD PNG, and it was the screenshot of the redheaded doll covered with blood.
Yeah.
Who was this from? Was it from FB? Because, like, so okay, when I'm thinking of like who FB could be narratively, it could be somebody we've never met before, right? That is totally understandable, but in episode, this is going to sound so stupid because there's no legitimate reason for me to think this, like, narratively, but if I have to consider, if I have to put myself in a mindset of, if it was somebody we know, who would it be? Then I would have to, like, say it would be Kurisu. Uh-huh. Because, like, out of being Mayori, the only evidence of it would be being Mayori were like the visions of her inside the hourglass talking about her own experiences and how Kiyoma isn't, or how she's the original, which doesn't really add up too much. Daru is the one who helped send Suzuha to the past. I don't think it would be Kiyoma. Suzuha was the one who initially said that in the future, Kurisu ended up in a different place. And we also, in episode 7, I wrote down that Moeka had a reaction to something that Kurisu said. And it could have potentially been something that reminded her of language that FB used. I don't know. And then
I think that there is if we had to pick, if it had to be
someone
that we have already been introduced to, like, I'm pretty sure Mr. Braun isn't a secret evil mastermind, especially because we now have this relationship with Suzuha that he had. And so I really do think that Kurisu, because we've spent, so many episodes now knowing that there was reason to be suspicious of her, at least on Suzuha's end from the future, and then we do know that she is killed and stabbed within the first episode. There's reason to kill her.
Who do you think stabbed her? Do you think it was Suzuha? Do you think that was one of her?
See, I really do wonder that, because the Suzuha that we get to know and meet just seems to almost be wary of Kurisu. Like, I'm gonna watch you like a hawk feeling, and then once you do something, then I will be there to stop you.
Yeah.
Like, Suzuha doesn't seem to me, from what we got to know her as, someone that would just, without giving you a chance, kill you before you even become what you became in the future.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great question of like how that actually happens.
In my gut, it's like there's no way Kurisu would be FB or would be behind this, but if that's not the case, then I would assume it'd have to be somebody we don't know, and then I'm just like, damn, I'm at a loss. I don't know what to think.
But also, the show has like this creation of these very like complex feelings, and what would be a better complex feeling narratively than knowing that the only the lines in this episode that Kurisu said to Okabe of like, remember, you have someone like you can trust. You have people you can talk to in the world, like specifically her. And I think because of this relationship that they've been having for the last couple episodes and trying to save Mayuri, that narratively it creates this even more of like that's gonna suck, like complex feeling of like, this is the person you've been fighting alongside. What Ferris said something like, we were defeating evil villains in another life. But really, Kurisu and Okabe have been working together in many lives to undo something, to save people. And I think that would just be like the ultimate betrayal narrative thing you could do. Obviously, it would make me like sad or upset, but I don't necessarily feel like the show is going to end with a sad and upset
I think
event.
The only thing that would make me like, what, it's like little crumbs of like, oh, okay, LO3RS, sure, that doesn't necessarily say losers, but if we're thinking of early 2000s like text language and insults, that would be an American vernacular of an insult. And like losers, we know that Kurisu comes from America and was on the Chan boards. It doesn't, I don't believe it, but I'm trying I just don't know. It could be, I don't know. I feel stupid. I love this show, and I think that like part of my love for this show makes me very reluctant to even speculate, because I know that I'll sound stupid, and I don't know what's going on. In the same vein that, like, in other shows, like Attack on Titan or something, I felt like I had a little more evidence in making guesses, and maybe it's because I'm just not retaining the information that well, but there's just so many different elements to the show that, like, I'm in love with it, yet I feel like I'm just being, like, I'm just a world line that's being spun and like.
I already find it hard to understand time travel completely and different universes, multiverse type things. I already find it kind of hard, and then my brain kind of fries a little bit when I try to think about it too much.
Yeah.
So already we're dealing with a subject matter that I find just super complex, obviously, but so interesting. Like, this is probably one of the best examples of like an enjoyment experience of feeling stupid. Like, when could you ever say, I enjoy feeling stupid? but like I enjoy feeling like
God,
I am like, whoa, what are they talking about? Like,
you know what else fucking adds? Okay, I apologize for how probably annoying and tiring it is for potential speculation for Kurisu. If that is not the case, I understand how that's probably a pain to listen to. But just hear me out for this last one. Suzuha said that Kurisu was known as the mother of the time machine. Fucking Moeka just said that she resembled a mother-type figure. Yeah. And I'm like, God, I can't, like...
And this show would totally put little evidence of, like, exact word choice. Especially when you get this idea with Moeka's episode in particular.
I feel so bad for her, but I hate her, and I don't know.
Every text message that Okabe tries to send, every time he tried to send one, all I could think to myself was like, people talk to themselves and to others in very specific ways. Like, unless someone is your best friend, I don't think you could text as themselves and they believe that they said that way. I mean, I think maybe I could text you and pretend to be you and you might think it but that's because we spend like every single day together.
Yeah.
And I would know what words, would you put a period at the end of your sentence in a text? What shorthand would you do in a text? There's what, do you have a code word for yourself? Like,
see, I feel like it'd be a lot easier to fool somebody nowadays with smartphones because like when you're typing on a phone that's 3 letters per button, you are much more delicate or much more like it's much more intentional for each character that you place. But in terms of like an iPhone, some people use text to speech, some people have like just autocorrect on, and then
like popular words that you would normally type can pop up sometimes.
Yeah.
I really am happy with this episode and with what is happening narratively for this complex emotions I'm feeling over Moeka not being like the main brain of the organization that is doing evil things, and placing her as a person that is being used gives you these really awesome, interesting feelings inside of being really divided. And I think why that's so great is because we can feel maybe even similar to how Okabe would actually feel as being divided here. Like, he's hearing from Moeka that she didn't want to go on anymore, and then this person came in and saved her and gave her a purpose, gave her a place. He starts imagining what it was like in one of the world lines when she was a lab member and she was around and she almost seemed to be like comforted by this friendship.
Yeah.
And I think it's really great that they're able to put the viewer in the same shoes as Okabe. Like, when he punched her, all of us wanted to punch her, you know? But then afterward, he says he's sorry. You know, later on in the conversation, he really does say he's sorry, and he means it. He really does mean it.
Yeah.
That he's sorry that this is how her life has gone, and these are this is the person that she has been given the most comfort and love from, and he's sorry that she didn't get that love and comfort from someone who was actually like had good intentions for her. Yeah.
Do you think that if we tried, we could find the exact day in show of when Moeka was getting texts from FB? Like, so I've narrowed it down to, so it seems like August 4th was the last time that Moeka got a text from FB, correct?
Is that what it says?
Yeah, 2/10/08/04. And in episode 6, we get the date of August 2nd, 2010. And then we get, let's see, August 2nd, August 3rd, and then we're pulling up almost, we'd have to be on August 4th around episode 7, right? When did we start even getting the dates every episode? Let's see. Because I think that if we figured out when she was getting the texts, then we'd be able to say who's in the room, what's going on situationally, when that's happening. You know what I mean?
Like, is your mind going to a place where when Kurisu might be in the room is when Moeka was getting text
maybe
messages
then that could like exonerate Kurisu.
Not necessarily, because then Kurisu in the future would know that where Moeka was.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's that's the fly on the wall kind of aspect. Like, how do you actually know, unless you have surveillance on Moeka, how do you actually know what she's doing, where she's going?
That's true. I'm trying to find when we got another date. I'm on episode 8 right now. And this is the episode that we have Kurisu and Kiyoma on the swing. And we have some texts here that might say, this was a D-mail. All right, here's one. It's
the 6th.
The 6th, so it's earlier than this.
So is the 6th the day that Moeka wants to send the D-mail herself?
I don't think so.
Well, she probably wants to change her phone, maybe not because to alert to them with the time machine, but to alert herself, because maybe she thinks that her phone's the reason she's not getting texts from FB anymore.
Oh, that could be it.
Like, maybe I thought that was, like, her way of signaling, like, hey, to herself, like, okay, they've done it with the time machine. But I almost feel like now that we know Moeka's feelings and relationship that she has one-sided toward FB, that her mind would be much more like, I need to get in contact with FB again. I need to get in contact with FB again. Maybe it's because of my new phone that's why I'm not getting texts from them anymore. And that would be her priority over, you know, anything else.
Yeah. So on episode 7 is the day before FB texts Moeka.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we even get the 4th.
Interesting that's the day is that the day with the Messiah text?
It might have been.
The 3rd? I think it was at the end of the episode.
Let's see if we get any timestamps in this one. We usually do in every episode, no?
Yeah, but I think it was like at the end of the episode for episode 8. No? Did we not get any? It's hard, like, obviously with the little thumbnails.
Yeah,
there it is.
It's the 6th?
It's the 6th.
It's hard, because it's like, damn.
So what was that last text that FB sent?
Well, so what? Episode 7, we're August 3rd. Episode 8, we're August 6th.
Mm-hmm.
That's like that's a huge jump in days. We don't actually get to see, or okay, we probably do, but at least in trying to find it in just scrolling on thumbnails on Crunchyroll, it seems like we haven't been able to see or find the actual day of August 4th, which definitely is some red flags, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's so interesting. What do you think about the whole idea of the IBN being in a coin locker? What does that say for you?
It says for me that Moeka is completely disposable and was supposed to be used to just go get fetch quest, to go get and then drop it off at a location that either another person that's being used will go get it for CERN, FB, whoever it is, or that person will actually show up.
Do you think it's still there?
In the way that Moeka says it, it's almost like she believes it's there.
Yeah.
So I would think that maybe that day is when she put it in there. And maybe she would know an exact date. No, if she knew an exact date it was supposed to be picked up, maybe she would stake out and like try to see if she could. She said she didn't want to meet FB. Never mind,
she didn't want to meet FB.
That. She thought FB would hate her if they actually met her.
Why do you think?
She's very
just insecurity.
Yeah,
that could be it.
Hates herself. It seems like a deep amount, which is very sad to see.
Moeka said that she had no skills and everything like that, and I'm just saying that she kind of executed that whole invasion and being in charge of people pretty well.
But it's so interesting that she says she has no skills, but if she was told to do something by someone that she believes saved her, then she turns into some assassin badass lady.
Hey, man.
How is it that she just did that? Has she ever shot a gun before then? Killing Mayuri?
Well, it probably no. I mean, we saw her hesitation, and that might have been not just because it's Mayuri, but her inexperience in trying to fire a gun.
I mean, she has where she hit Mary was pretty spot on for like someone who was never like aimed before.
They weren't too close to each other, to be fair.
That is fair.
Did we get any like actual get to read any actual text from FB this episode? Because I'm pretty sure we got a couple in regards to the Rounders, or at least recruiting her, right? Like the text that
we got the original texts. No?
That while she was on top of the building.
Yeah, that was the only scene that we got any actual texts from FB. And if anything, they were very like hard to understand how that would like make you feel safe.
In cabinet office, Moeka sitting on the stairs, and she gets up with her phone, and that's when she goes up to the roof, I believe, right? And then she's up there, and that's when her phone buzzes. So the first message from FB was 2006, June 21st. This is a long time in wait.
This relationship had been built for a while.
That's crazy to me. That's nuts. Because that's not just like, oh, a couple months of manipulation and using you. Mm-hmm. This has been like set into motion long in advance. So that makes me think even more like speculative of somebody from the future being able to like have their knowledge.
But even the phrasing of it, rounder recruitment, gives even more of that energy to me that they kind of just like spammed this message to people they found to be probably vulnerable and in need of a place to belong and a safety feeling and a love feeling. And then they just waited to see who responded. And she says, "Can I do it too?"
Yeah, but like the language was so interesting to me. Like, I have a type of time machine. The message from the future is proof. Of course, we offer everyone the job that best suits them. They needed me. I've never worked before. I have no skills or things that I'm good at. It's okay. Let's do our best together. That's so like...
Okay, the message from the future is proof. The only way that Moeka could get a proof text message from the future is if it came from herself, correct?
Okay, so maybe that she wasn't 100% confirmed about, like, believing in time travel, until that she saw the proof of the D-mail, like, years later?
It could have been, like, she sent that to herself on the roof to give her the proof. And it had to be...
Oh, interesting.
Like, give her the proof so that she actually does the follow-through of killing Mayuri.
Yeah, but I don't think...
Because are you gonna do big actions like that unless you have, like, actual proof?
So do we know, did we get to see when that D-mail that she sent was from? Like, could she have sent it back to 06?
Well, we sent back to Ruka's mom on a pager before Ruka was born.
It's possible, but, like, did we get to see it?
Like, what date? But she said to send it back to her, like, 4 weeks ago or whatever? So she
but she sent 2 messages, right?
But she sent 2 But I thought Kurisu had to, like, program what day it was sending back to.
True. I don't know, man. I thought...
Maybe it's like she was waiting for a message from the future. And that the message from the future was proof for her to go through with whatever big thing that... Because maybe they were just planning something. Maybe this was all just, like, little text messages for years to build, like... Oh, yep, I'm just checking in. And then when the message from the future comes, that's your moment to, like, believe and to act.
Yeah. Damn, dude.
But then that means Moeka was, like, waiting to act for a while.
Yeah.
Just, like, sitting and waiting for, like, orders.
That's even sadder.
And belief and proof. So and then as soon as she got it... killed Mary.
Do you think then from the beginning, Moeka, when she was taking pictures and everything, every single thing that she did was ordered by FB? Could be.
Maybe.
It's interesting to think about.
Yeah. Because before I had thought that she did that in order to tell if the world line switched. I don't know. Like, I was... But now I'm like, yeah, what is the reason for the journaling with the photographs on the phone?
Yeah. Abbreviating everything.
Unless, like, FB, like, told them to do, like, therapeutic, good-for-you activities, like journaling.
Yeah. We got the term brainwash in the same episode that we met Moeka, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. I'm at my wit's end. Yeah. I'm loving the show, though. It's like, I don't know. I think that they're able to somehow handle literally everything to a near perfect degree. Like they're being able to tread on a topic that is extremely sensitive, like this episode, but the way that they manage to handle it, and then even mix in like some humor in the sense of an old lady coming in and being like, "Oh, those are just kids."
That was just so frustrating for me. I was like, "What is this lady on? A table has thrown open the door."
Yeah, man.
Like,
They're young kids,
Yep.
you know, being rough and
yeah, honestly, that's exactly what I would think. I would not call the police too. You're right, old lady.
Hey, I'm surprised she didn't call the police either. But if the police showed up and they might have been like, "Oh yeah,
it's just a couple.
Yeah,
it's just what couples do."
Yeah.
But you're right. There's been a lot of heavy.
They're in the prime of their life.
Just the kids being kids, just young people, you know.
Unbelievable.
Crazy. There's been a lot of heavy subject matter in this show, and I appreciate, you know, the feelings that they're having me feel as I am witnessing that, and as I am, you know, immersed in what's happening. I think that they're going about it in a really great way, where it doesn't just feel like it's being used for like shock emotion value, like, oh, I'm gonna make you feel really uncomfortable right now, or I'm gonna make you feel like really sad right now, or I'm, you know, just to show you something heavy for no actual like reason. It's definitely not like that. It seems like everything comes with a lot of like thought and like different emotions you're supposed to be feeling with it, and really does hit home with this like complex feelings about the characters in the show, and even what Okabe has to do in order to save Mayuri.
Yeah.
Like saving Mayuri in itself is this like really great goal, this really like grand righteous goal, and an amazing goal, but the things that he's having to do and deal with, and the other people involved in order to get to a place where he can save her.
Yeah.
It's such like murky water, and every character is actually like in it and a part of it. It's not just like you can skip over all this stuff and not even think about it and just save her. Like Okabe is having to deal with all of these steps. He's having to think of all these repercussions of saving Mayuri and actually like process them and deal with them, and almost grieve for the people that he cares about in what he has to undo for their lives.
Do you think the FB or the B in FB could be beta? Maybe? Like beta? Worldline beta? When we're getting like the idea of what the rounders' jobs are and the rules of like somebody's learned something they're not allowed to know, making of a time machine, publicly announcing it, like all of the idea of the rounders existing sounds like something that is put into motion from somebody in the future or CERN to ensure that nobody could ever come close to, or even start to try to get to Worldline Beta, or try to change the, you know, how the future ends up.
They want to save their future, the future they want, for whatever reason, because they're like rich and they have everything that they want.
Yep. All right. That's all I have for you.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we hope to see you next time.